Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to laud the efforts of a student organization at Penn State University located in the Pennsylvania 5th Congressional District. These students are participating, Mr. Speaker, in a nationwide competition called Up to Us. The goal is raising awareness of the national debt and the impact it will have on the leaders of tomorrow and generations to come, especially in terms of their future economic opportunities. The winning team will be recognized later this year and will receive $10,000. The national debt isn't something you often hear much about from men and women in their late teens and early 20s, which is why I was so impressed by this. These are signatures of more than 1,500 students. Seeking to raise awareness among the men and women who represent them in such places as the United States House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, I was happy to share some of the work we have done over the past few years in lowering the debt and pledge to continue that effort. Spending has been reduced to historic levels under the Republican-led Congress. These fiscally responsible reductions are greater than those achieved under President Reagan or greater than those under former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Now, this has been a challenge, given that before Republicans took charge of the House, total spending to gross domestic production had skyrocketed from 21 to 24%. Discretionary spending alone went from 7% to 10%. We were drowning in debt. And one of the first measures in restoring financial common sense advanced by Republicans was the Budget Control Act that decreased government spending by more than $2 trillion over 10 years. By flexing the power of the purse, the Republican-led House reduced spending from 9.1 to 6.5% of gross domestic product. The second significant and successful debt reduction measure came in the form of the Ryan-Murray deal. This extended the Budget Control Act savings an additional 2 years. Newly hired federal employees are now required to contribute more to pension plans, and taxpayers contribute less. The spending reductions that were impacting mandatory spending for the first time resulted in faster and greater debt reduction. The very first meaningful entitlement reform that provided even greater debt reduction came from the Republican-led Medicare reform legislation that has been enacted, known as the Doc Fix. Now, while this legislation provided a permanent patch of the Medicare outpatient payment system, securing access to health care for America's older adults, the reforms are estimated to save $2.9 trillion over 10 years in Medicare's unfunded liabilities. This leadership reduced the debt and supported the Medicare program's sustainability. Now, while the Republican-led Congress has taken action on debt reduction, much work remains. Raising awareness of the threats that debt creates, individual opportunity, upward mobility, and national security is a critical step. Now, I want to say thank you to the students at Penn State University that are involved in leading the Up to Us project for their work in this effort. And I wish them the best of luck as they continue to work to bring attention to this very important issue. And I look forward to working with them as we continue to work at eliminating the debt that threatens their future and the future of our nation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back the balance of my time.